Hi, and welcome to Atlantic Building Inspections Report Writing Software Tutorial Add-on Video. We've made some changes to the report as of lately. Today is February the 1st, 2014. And so I want you to take a look at the new template, and I'm going to show you a few different things to be able to use the template properly. First of all, we removed the text field here in these areas. So we just basically just type in the name of the buyer and we put in the address. We can copy and paste, same thing, no problem. So we manually just put these things in, and the date we use the same DT and it drops in the date. Let me save this as a test file so that we don't mess up the template. Okay, basically the big changes are as follows. I'm going to summarize them and then we'll go through them together. The report summary has changed significantly. There are many different new features now on the report summary. If you take a quick look through it, you'll see some of the changes there. Then as you go into the report, the electrical system, this is a condo. I'm going to do a video for the home inspection, but it's basically the same thing. Description section here did not change at all. Everything's the same. Here we did make a few changes. First of all, when you're going to delete this, do not just delete these words. You should put your arrow out here in the margin and click on the entire line and go ahead and click on delete. That deletes the entire row. When you do that and you update the table and you go back up to the table, you notice that it deletes the entire row. Now, if you don't do that and you come here and you just delete the words, what happens is when you refresh the table and you go back up, you're going to see electrical section of this report. And the reason that you do that and you see that is because, let me back up here so you can see what happens here. There is some writing here that is in white. And I have it in white so that the buyer doesn't look at the report and is currently on the electrical section and see the electrical section of this report. That doesn't really make sense. So I leave that in white. So if you're going to remove this, just highlight the whole thing, hit delete, and it'll remove the entire thing. Okay. Now, the second big change you're going to see on this new template is the cost summary section here. Now, the cost summary section here adds up. So these two are tables, and these tables add up. This box here will add up all of the numbers you put here, and this box here will add up all of the numbers you put here. Let me show you how it works. So let's say here you put $150 and you tab and you put $300. And let's say here you're going to put $400 and then you're going to do $850 as a high number. And here you're going to put just 75 and then you're going to put 300 as a high number. Okay? Simply click on this little calculator up here, and when you click on that calculator, it will add up this entire row for you and this entire row for you for the entire report. When you update your report summary and you go back up to your report summary, it will also put them in here for you. You do not have to do anything else. Okay, so that is the big, one of the big things, one of the big changes to the new report. So if you were to go ahead and zero all of these back out again, oops, back up here, copy, paste. All right, if you were to zero everything back up and you hit your calculator, it'll bring everything back to zero. Like I said, it does it for the entire form. So all the numbers you put in here, it will automatically calculate everything. So as you're doing your inspection, you simply just have to put in your numbers here. And you come down here to, let's say, ductwork, and you put, 2,000 to replace, 3,500. And when you hit your calculator, here it adds up the lows and the highs. And again, when you refresh your report summary and you come back up, it'll put in those numbers already for you. So you do not have to do that. All right. So let me go ahead and zero this out again. And hit the calculator, you'll see, brings everything back down to zero. Now, the second thing that we did here in this section, we incorporated the total cost summary in here, so it's no longer in this part of the report. Okay, now when you are filling these in and you hit inspected and you come here and you pick something here, for example, double tap with space, you're going to have your frames to put in pictures. And if you're going to go ahead and you're going to put in a picture, let's just pick any picture here. Okay, and when you double click and you highlight this and you send it up to the summary, it all works the same. When you double click the header, it'll send it up to the summary. You'll notice that it'll move it down a little bit. When you put in your second observation, let's say you have an outlet observation, outlets are damaged, and you're going to put here living room, okay, and you're going to double click on the header and you're going to send it up to the summary, and you're going to double click on the observation and send it up to the summary. When you refresh the summary and you go up, you're going to see a big difference now. You're going to actually see very nice, let's remove this. And now you see you have your sub panel heading, the observation, the photo, and then you have a space here between them, which is what we did. And then you have the observation, then you have another space between total electrical cost summary, and then you have your high or your low number. So let's go back up and fill out those numbers. So let's say that for the single pole, you're going to say 225 to 400. And for the damaged outlet, you're going to say 125 to 200. When you hit your calculator, it's going to add everything up, and then you just refresh the table, go back up, and there's your report summary. There's your observation, your header first, your observation, your photo, your space, your header, observation, space, total cost summary, the low number, and the high number. Okay? And so your report summary from now on, you won't have to add little spaces in there or anything like that. I'm still working on a workaround here, because if you add another picture in here and you bring both of these in and you send it up to the report summary, it's going to put one photo on the top and one photo on the bottom. There's a few ways around that. You can just put your cursor in front of the picture here, backspace, and then give it one space between the two pictures. If you don't do it exactly like I just did it, what will happen is, if you do it this way, delete and space, it actually puts a blue line here because it's a hyperlink. So really the best way to do it is, when you go to the report summary, is put your cursor behind it, click back twice, and then space, and it puts them both. But as soon as you refresh the table, it's going to put it back around again. So really the best way to do this is, you've got a few choices. Number one, if you know you're going to put two pictures in here, what I would suggest that you do is not use the frame at all. Highlight the frame and backspace the frame, and then put your cursor right next to breakers here, and then pick the picture that you're going to put in, click on it, and this RS is resize photo. You click on it and it resizes your photo. Then you put your cursor right behind the breakers there, and you hit enter, and it goes to the bottom. If you're going to put a second picture, go ahead and put your cursor beside the photo, click twice, give it two spaces, pick the next picture, click on the picture, pick RS. Now if you were to highlight all of this and you send it up to a report summary, the pictures are going to come out side by side really nicely, and you don't have to do anything else. Now that's a little bit of work, so you know, it's the other option is, once you put in your observation here, let's try it again. Sub panel. Once you put in your observation, your double tap. The way that I usually do this is the following. I go ahead and I put in my two pictures, okay, of the double tap breaker for the report body. Then I double click the observation and I send it up to the report summary, and then I just click on one picture. One of the two is enough in the report summary. You don't really need 2 or 3 pictures up there. And you click here. Now when you update the field, it's only going to give you that one picture. So you can pick one of the 2 pictures, whichever one you think is better, and that way you eliminate having to come up here and mess with the report summary at all. And again, remember, you always have the second option, which is to go ahead and pick the photo in its raw form, and instead of having to grab here and resize like this, like we used to have to do it, you just basically click on the photo, click RS, and it'll resize it for you. And now when you click that and you send it up to the report summary, and now it goes right up here. If you've noticed, the other thing we did was when you click on take me to the report summary page right there, it brings you to the top of it. I find that it's going to be a lot easier just to scroll down starting from the top. Okay, so that's the way we're dealing with the pictures in the report. The other option is to not put any pictures in this area. If you have too many, let's say you have 5 or 6 pictures and you don't want to put them all here, you can simply come down here, put your cursor right here above the notice, and you can pick your PTS here, photo table, and it'll put in the photo header, and then you can click your button here, and you can go ahead to your file where your photos are, and you can add whatever. Let's say you have 6 photos that you want to add. Oops, 3 and 3. There you go. And you hit OK, and then it puts all of them in there for you. Okay, so you could do it this way too, and then you just basically type in, and it'll put in the information, the caption underneath each photo. So you can do that as well and not put photos in here. Here I'd like to see maybe 1 or 2 photos. If you have an observation that doesn't have a photo frame and you want one, just click here on 2 pics and it drops it in for you. Remember, you can always pick 2 pictures at the same time by clicking on a picture, holding the control button, clicking on the other picture. It puts them both in, and then you just grab one and move it to the side. That's much faster. The other way to do it is if you have 2 photos here and you're at the report summary state and you're trying to complete your report summary and you want to use those 2 pictures in the report summary, simply put your cursor up here, hit enter once, and then grab each picture and move it. So basically what you'll do is you'll move the picture, you'll put 2 spaces between the pictures, get rid of your frame, and then double click, highlight everything, send it up to the report summary, and voila, both pictures are in line, one next to the other. Always remember that if you're putting, by the way, I changed this so that when you put in the circle, it doesn't have the fill anymore. So if you're putting in 2 circles, oops, into the report, here and here, if you refresh that table, those will disappear. So you have to put in your circles and your arrows on the report summary at the very end before you go ahead and send the report. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of changes. I think this is going to make our lives a lot easier. We go through the report. We've got air conditioner. We're going to say it's not cooling, and we're going to put here 125 to 350 as an example. The air handler, we're going to say there's the heat is inoperative, and we're going to say here, we're going to say 75 to 350, and once we hit that calculator, it's going to magically put it here, and then it also, remember, puts it in here for you already in the report summary, so you don't have to deal with that anymore. All right, so no more adding up. As soon as you put in these numbers, it works. Now, here's a shortcut for you. You've got your ductwork as an example, and you're going to put in damaged ducts, and you put in your pictures, and here, instead of typing in a number, you can simply just click here and put, let's say 300, and then you can tab, and then put in here 700. And so you don't have to write these numbers. We have a drop down for all of the numbers so that you can put in the numbers that you need to put in. And then again, if you hit your calculator, boom, it adds everything up for you. So no more guessing. On here, I'd like to see you guys putting 4 pictures. So the way you do that when you're in the field is you want to click on your picture button here, and then you want to pull out your little writing. You want to click Control. You want to move your keyboard out of the way. Once you do that, then you're free to go find the 4 pictures that you want to put in there, and you hit enter, and then you move your keyboard back and you close it down, and then you can grab the pictures and you can go ahead and put them where they belong. So there you go, you've got your 4 pictures, and then here you put your return picture. That'll be 1 picture in the return, and then here your heating picture. Okay, so that way you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures showing the AC registers. And I got it in the wrong box. They belong like that. There you go. Okay, so that's another thing that we